Hey, good evening, everybody. I am Chuck Rogers, licensed professional counselor and licensed marriage and family therapist.
And I'm Keith Dunn, and I am a network engineer.
And together we're Tabletop Coffee.
Yes, where we are bold and never ever bitter.
And tonight we're going to start a new series called Do One Thing Different. Stay tuned and we'll kick it off.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's a great series.
Yeah, it is.
Man, I can't wait to see where we go with this. What's the first thing
Well,
that we're going to change?
This idea comes from a book that either is by Bill O'Hanlon or Michelle Weiner Davis or both of them. I can't remember.
Okay.
So give them both a plug.
I'll just put both pictures of them
they're
up on the screen.
two of my favorite writers. So I'll have to check and see who it was actually by. I think
Okay.
it was Bill O'Hanlon, I think. Maybe both.
Okay.
But it talks about, other than being grammatically incorrect, it's a good book. But it talks about the importance of doing something that's different if you don't like what's going on in your life.
Right.
And I just had this in-depth conversation with a couple on Monday doing an intensive with me, and there's so many things in their life that need to be so very different that they've been kind of paralyzed and haven't known where to start with any of it. So I talked to them about the analogy of, if you have a soup and you add one ingredient to the soup already tastes different with just one ingredient.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
you've got to have an experimenter's mind, an adventurous mind, and add one thing different to the soup in order to make the soup taste differently. Because if you don't,
Right.
you just kind of stay stagnant.
Yeah.
It's supposed to stagnant.
It's Bob Saget.
I don't like Bob Saget.
So as you talk about that, when you're adding things to the soup, you're hoping that it makes things better.
Hoping.
But it can actually make the soup taste not so good.
It can.
As well.
Yes.
So it's just things that you have to try
Yeah.
and see if things work. And it doesn't take much a lot of times.
Sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, just a little pinch of salt or a little dash of pepper, and it can make all the difference in the world.
Yeah, and I think that the fear button gets pushed by people because they're afraid that if I do add that one ingredient in
That's
there
right.
and it tastes terrible, it's going to ruin the whole soup. So I'll just continue eating it the way that it is.
Yeah, I've always had my soup this way.
Yeah.
I know that this might make things be a little bit better in the soup, but I've never had it before, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, so you can either continue eating the bland soup, which is what most people will do
Right.
because it's working for them,
Sure.
or are you going to take a chance and try something? So this is always in my mind when I'm talking with my clients. And a while back, I was talking with a guy who he was coming individually, but this particular evening he was talking about his relationship with his wife. And one of the questions I'll oftentimes ask is there something in the next week or two that might present a challenge for you individually or in your family?
Okay.
And he goes, yeah. And he said that there was a trip that he and his family were going to take.
Okay.
And that was going to present a challenge. And he went on to share about how it was that they would prepare to leave or plan to leave at, say, I'm going to make up some times, 12:30 p.m., right after lunch. We're gonna,
Oh, okay.
And then his wife would agree to this.
Right.
And then it would be 3:30, and they still wouldn't be in the car and on
Right.
their way yet. And
Sure.
it would become this thing where he would be frustrated, be angry,
Right.
would bring it up, and then this would create distance, and then you're in the car with this distant person, and it doesn't feel good, and so the trip is off and running, but not on a very good start.
Okay.
So we talked about various options, and one ingredient that he'd added to the soup in the past was that I'm going to talk to her, going to get her buy-in, get her agreement that we're going to do this. She would be on board. She saw the importance of it.
Right.
But then 12:30 comes and goes, and 3:30 and 4 o'clock arrives, and then they're starting their trip late again.
Right.
So talking didn't help. And we've done some videos on that. When
Right.
if you're talking about your thoughts and your feelings and it's going nowhere, try something else instead. So on this particular night, I said, if you weren't afraid, what would you do? I mean, because talking about it isn't working. So if you weren't afraid, what would you do?
Okay.
And he kind of got a glimmer in his eye, like it
He's
wasn't.
been thinking about
It wasn't officially there, but you know how sometimes on TV or in a
Yes.
cartoon you'll see a little gling and it'll pop out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, oh, and I said, what are you thinking about? He says, well, I'm thinking about saying, hey, it's 12:15. Are you going to be able to go at 12:30? And if she says I need more time, he'll say, okay. And then he says, I'm going to go make a sandwich, get my favorite chips, get my favorite beverage, and I'm going to watch soccer, because he was a huge, huge soccer fan. And it was
Okay.
soccer season.
Sure.
He said, and that'll take me several hours down the road
Right.
watching soccer.
Okay.
And I said, how are you feeling about that? He said, oh, I feel great about that. He said, I would prefer that we would leave at 12:30 for all kinds of reasons, but I would also prefer not having this fight and starting this trip off on a really bad foot. He
Right.
says, so I'm going to do something different, and I'm just going to make a sandwich.
Okay. Well, that's good. Something to pass the time.
It is. And he did exactly that. He made the sandwich, he got
Watched
some
some
chips,
soccer.
sat down and watched soccer for a few hours, and then I don't remember if the soccer game match, whatever they call that thing, is
Okay.
I've just offended like most of the
Football.
world by not
It's
knowing.
football in the rest of the world.
I'm still not sure soccer is a real sport. I mean,
Oh.
it's like really difficult, but
I
I'm not
will
sure.
tell you, it is a real sport. I played soccer in high school.
Yeah, I did one game.
Oh, my goodness. I have never been in such good shape as
Yeah.
when I played soccer.
Just kidding, everybody. Just kidding. Soccer, I know, is a
great
very
sport.
grueling, difficult, wonderful
Mm-hmm.
sport.
Yeah.
And it changed his whole demeanor. It changed their day. It changed their car ride. It changed the entire trip,
Right.
because he was adventurous
Yeah.
and courageous to do this one different thing
Okay.
and see what happened. It was a great thing.
That is a great thing. I've got another great option on that before we close this
Ooh,
out.
please tell.
You know what I would do?
No, I really don't.
If Lisa and I needed to be somewhere at a specific time and it was 12:30 and we didn't get out until 3 or 3:30, I think I would start telling her, hey, we really need to leave at 9.
Oh, yeah.
And then maybe we'll get out by 12 or 12:30.
It's another domino to tip.
Yeah, that
So,
would be another domino.
There's two for the price of one, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, if you liked our content, Keith would really appreciate it if you would subscribe.
Yeah, oh, please do. Click that button down there and also ding that bell so you're notified of upcoming episodes.
Make sure to like it.
Yeah, share it with your friends.
Thanks, everybody.
Until next time.